It was at that point I realized that Yakuza was something special. Hey, what's going on, guys? John here, and today we're doing something a little bit different. As you are looking on screen now, I am doing a drawing video, so this is still an art channel. If you're just here for the tier list, go ahead and use the timestamps. But the new Yakuza is about to release, and it has released by the time this video goes live, and I am super hyped about this. This is my favorite video game franchise. I can't wait for this game. Yes, I will talk about the New Game Plus problem, okay? But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the series, and I'm going to rank them in order from, release, and put them in tiers and all that, tier list thing. Meanwhile, there's going to be this drawing of Seong-hui back here that I'm doing. Full disclosure, I am using a reference of Gravure model Yamagishi Kaidi, alright? I'll put the picture there, and I'm going to have to blur that, but yeah. So I'm going to do that drawing of this character here in the background while this goes on, because still a drawing channel, and Seong-hui is best girl, okay? Of course. Of course John likes the alt girl with the dom energy. Of course he does. Anyway, we're going to just move right into the tier list. So, first things first, Yakuza 0. The perfect entry point in the series. I freaking love this game. I got this game on sale on Steam in like 2021 or whenever they ported them to Steam, right? And from literally the first combat, I'm like, alright, I gotta buy the rest of the series. This game is so fucking good. Okay? There's a reason people say this is still their favorite in the series, even though there's been like a billion sequels. The setting, 1980s Japan, right? The characters, perfect starting point for newcomers to the series. It's perfect. There's a little bit of fan service in there for like longtime fans if you go around through the sub-stories, right? It's so good. It's so fucking good. S tier. No contest. Moving along. Yakuza Kiwami 1. The remake of the first game. I did not play the original, okay? I should mention that there are a handful of games that I didn't play. I didn't play the original versions of the 3, 4, and 5, as well as the original PS2 games. Dead Souls, which has never been ported to PC. I am a PC gamer. And Fist of the North Star, Lost Paradise. Like, come on, Sega. Us PC gamers want to go, ya-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Come on, man. Port it. I know people say the Fist of the North Star game's not that good, but I don't know. It's Yakuza and Fist of the North Star together. Sign me the fuck up. Oh yeah, and the PSP games that never came out over here. I haven't played those. But anyway, yeah, Kiwami 1. As a remake, I can't really state on it, but as a newcomer to the series with the remake, remaster line, I had a great time with this game. Now, one of the biggest criticisms of this game is the Majima Everywhere system, which starts out as really cool concept and idea, and over time becomes extremely annoying. I think it's kind of cool that you can only get certain upgrades based off of certain encounters. I think that's cool. Gives you, like, more incentive to go out, like, and find him, but at the same time, it's a little annoying. It does kind of feel like DLC for Zero, because it's practically the same. It's even got the same whole pocket circuit racer storyline thrown in there that continued from Zero, which is kind of fun. But some of the sub-stories are a little weak in this one. This one probably has some of the weakest sub-stories, but then again, most of them are from the original game, when they were trying to figure this franchise out. I did like it a lot. Apparently, the scenes with Nishiki were added in the remake, which I think is good. Totally shows a better character arc. I'm trying not to spoil these games, so anybody can enjoy these videos I'm making. I'm going to put it in A tier, okay? It's really good, not as good as Zero. So, next up, Yakuza Kiwami 2. Okay, as a remake, I can't really say my opinion on it, but as a newcomer to the series, I really had a great time with this one. I like that you could grab weapons and store them for later. I feel like it's kind of weird with the weapon system in the Yakuza games. Like, it's almost like it's alternating between every other game. You can, like, store weapons and then you can't. I don't know what's going on. Ryuji Goda, one of the greatest antagonists in the series. Like, seriously, there's been a lot of hints that potentially he might come back in Gaiden if he did the side stories in that game, which we'll get to eventually. Really like this game. Sayama, amazing. Love her. Glad to see she's coming back at least for like a little bit of an appearance in Infinite Wealth. Majima being Majima in this one. I would put this one in B tier, though, because overall, the combat, the earlier Dragon Engine games, because this is the second one they made in the Dragon Engine, I don't know, I feel like they didn't really find their footing until they hit Judgment with this engine, in terms of active combat. We'll talk about the turn-based combat in 7 when we get to it, but yeah, I had fun with it. It was a lot of fun. Some of the sub-stories were kind of fun, some of them were a little forgettable. Overall, it's a pretty solid Yakuza game. Thought the real-time strategy minigame kind of sucked. I don't know. Same thing with 6. Not really a fan of those real-time strategy games inside of this one. I'm not a real-time RTS hater. I do like RTS once in a while. It's just, I don't know, I felt like the implementation wasn't that good in 6 and 2. But yeah, we're going to move on. Great game. I'll probably pick up the originals eventually. But I'm going to give it B tier, though. I liked 1 and 0 better. Alright, so moving along. Yakuza 3. Oh boy, everybody's favorite. Okay, so Yakuza 3 gets a lot of hate, and, fair enough in certain cases. I mean, there's certain things I like about it, things I don't like. I'll be honest, I can vaguely remember the story. Like, I remember the beginning part where you're at the orphanage with the kids, which actually ended up paying off if you got all the way up to Gaiden, if you don't skip Yakuza 3, because, real men don't skip Yakuza 3. Say what you will, but this game definitely has the best memes. I'll put a few right here.
Beautiful eyes. Like I heard from my brother before.
If you're looking for Daigo, Mine's taken him up to the roof.
Oji-san, gohan mada?
Let's see. Kiryu's really wide in this one. Mine is a great character, There's maybe he'll come back. I don't know. You know how Yakuza is. Yeah, Rikia was great. What the hell was his name? Mr. Anderson or Black Monday, that whole CIA storyline. I don't know. It's a little weird. Maybe they'll reincorporate that into Infinite Wealth since they're in America, Hawaii in that one, or for part of that one. And yeah, I don't know. This game isn't as bad as people say. I mean, yeah, the combat can be a little frustrating at times, but honestly, if I got this game back when it came out on PS3, if I had a PS3 instead of a 360 back in the day, I probably would have loved this game. Yeah, I don't know. It's really not that great. I'm going to have to put it in D tier. Sorry, Yakuza 3 fans. There are parts of it that are kind of good, parts of it that are really, really bad. It's just that the bad is way more than the good. But don't skip it. Do not skip Yakuza 3, okay? Real men don't skip Yakuza 3. Moving along to Yakuza 4. Alright, the first time we got multiple characters in a Yakuza game. If you were playing in order of release rather than the re-release, because in 0 you play as Majima. Whatever. Okay, so yeah, this one introduced everybody's favorite Akiyama, and of course Saejima, and some other guy that nobody really cares about. Tanimura, right? Nobody remembers this guy because he's, I don't know, I just didn't like him. They like changed his face or something in the game. I think there was like some controversy, like he did coke or something. Same thing happened with Hamura in Judgment. Like the actor did coke and they changed his name. Was it coke? Some drug. I don't know. Imagine that. Imagine in America if it was like that. America, one of the actors does coke. Everybody's like, yeah, just a typical Monday in Hollywood, But yeah, whatever. Yeah, I didn't hate this game. I didn't like it either. See, there's one thing in 3 and 4 that really bothered me is that whenever you got into a battle, some guy would approach you on a street and there's dialogue before the fight starts. It's really annoying. Makes going around to like level up, just to get into some fights to get a couple of abilities unlocked, really annoying and like kind of tedious. Akiyama was great. The story was kind of shit. There's that one plot twist that kind of destroys an entire character arc, but I don't know. Some people defend it. I don't know. I can barely remember Tanimura at all. He's like a dirty cop that speaks multiple languages or something. Kiryu's just kind of there at the end, just be like, oh yeah, it's still, Kiryu's still in the game, guys. We didn't just write him out. I think they added him, like, last minute. Saejima, part of the problem with playing as Saejima is that you're sneaking around Kamurocho because he, like, escaped prison, and you're trying to avoid the cops, but, I don't know. Avoiding the cops as Saejima was really annoying in this game. Like, they were everywhere. It got a lot easier in 5. Yeah, they had this whole, like, rooftop and underground, which I thought was cool. That was definitely a cool thing about this one. But, yeah, other than that, yeah, I'm going to have to give this one C tier. Yeah. Alright, next up, we got Yakuza 5. Alright, hot take. I fucking love Yakuza 5. I know 5 has its haters. You know, you got your Yumeis and all that. I love Yakuza 5. The combat is really good, okay? Kiryu is OP as fuck in this game. Also, this one has essence of face grading, one of the most brutal heat actions in the entire franchise. You know, it's got crazy taxi in it. It's got a shitty hunting game. I'll admit, the hunting's really shit. It's got dance battles. Come on, man. It's got dance battles. So yeah, you play as Kiryu again in this one as a taxi driver for some reason. I'm not going to spoil the plot too much, but basically the overarching narrative is about people not giving up on their dreams, and I kind of like that. You know, even though the plot is really convoluted, the thematic backdrop of it is kind of hits a little close to home. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still trying to be a professional artist out here, but I'm getting along in years, but you know, you got to keep fighting for your dreams. You got to keep living for your dreams. Shinada is Giga Chad. I love Shinada. Please bring back Shinada. Even if it's like just for like one sub-story. Please, Sega. Please. I hope he makes an appearance in Infinite Wealth, because based off of the trailers, there's a lot of fan service in there in terms of like returning characters from previous entries like Sayama and Komaki. Yeah, I really liked 5. Saejima is actually fun to play as. Everybody that says like, oh, I don't like playing as Saejima in this one, like, dude, just get good. Alright, same thing with Akiyama. People say he was a step down, like, nah, get good. And with Shinada, like, get good, okay? The whole weapons master thing is great, because when I went to fight his final boss, I just stocked up on guns and like beat him in like under a minute. It was so ridiculous amount of mini games. I don't know, this game is huge. This is probably it's the second biggest Yakuza game now that Infinite Wealth is out when this video comes out. But I kind of like that, okay? I'm going to put this in S tier. Yeah, you heard me, S tier. Alright? I am a Yakuza 5 defender. Alright, next up, Yakuza 6. The first Dragon Engine game. I'm going to be honest, I didn't like Yakuza 6 that much. Yakuza 6 is alright. That's about it. Hiroshima, or Onomichio? What's the name of the town? I know Onomichi's in this game. It became a recurring character in the entire franchise, even in the Judgement spin-offs, which is great. You know, I love the Onomichi side story, sub-story. Yeah, 6 is supposed to be the last game that Kiryu was in, which obviously it wasn't. I don't know. The combat was okay-ish. You know, the heat gauge system in this one was rough. You know, they fixed that in Kiwami too. I don't remember the story like at all. I can barely remember. Like, Haruka's in a coma or something, and let me see, there's like the Hiroshima family, and he's trying to find out who the father of the his grandson, or I guess technically not technically his grandson, but you know what I mean, was in. Like, there's a boat or something. I can't, like, this story is really forgettable. I do remember the baseball scene. Everybody remembers the baseball scene. I don't know, this game was okay. I might have to give it another playthrough, but yeah, I'm gonna put it in C tier for now. What comes after that? Is it Yakuza 7? Yakuza Like a Dragon? No, it's Judgment. Did Judgment come out before or after that? We're going to go with Judgment first. So, Judgment has one of the greatest stories in RGG's catalog. Might be the best story in the entire catalog. I love this story so much. The game? Okay, so this is a spin-off where you play as a detective in Kamurocho, Takayuki Yagami, right? So, Yagami is a great character. I love Yagami, right? There's a whole controversy around the actor and Johnny's, which is the agency, and like they can't port it to PC because of his likeness, and then eventually it got ported. I don't know, it's a whole thing. Forget all that. We play the fucking game. Alright? So, my beef with this game is the tailing missions and the sheer amount of tailing missions. They suck ass. I hate them. and there's so many of them, alright? Some of the side activities are really fun. The drone races are cool. You know, I like that you gotta like find the parts and customize them. One problem I had with this game is I was trying to go for like a completion, or, you know, at least max out Yagami, you know, and all that. Making money in this game is ridiculously hard. I don't know why. Every other Yakuza game, even ones after it, has a way to make money easily, but for some reason in Judgment, you can only make money off of the VR game. So you gotta go around and beat up thugs to get the VR passes, because you need passes to go play the VR game, right? But then, it's like gambling to get money to go out there and like invest in things to like level up and all that. And it's just this infinite cycle of pain, and you barely get any XP for fights, at least when I was playing through it on hard, because I play all these games on hard. But other than that, the combat itself was pretty fun. I like the wall jump mechanic, and the fact that you're not always running in this one, that you actually have to toggle between walk and run, which is fun. You know, it makes combat a little bit more strategic. I thought the idea of the cops showing up if you take too long in the fight was really cool. I feel like they could bring that mechanic back. I don't know if they implemented a little bit better. Mortal Wounds was a terrible idea, especially because you got to go all the way up to like one corner of the map to get the med kits to heal yourself. Like, guns are like a ridiculous threat in this game, which is kind of good that they brought back like, oh yeah, shit, they got a gun. That's an actual threat. You can't just take it to the face like Kiryu did, right? But at the same time, it's really annoying. Oh, and the extracts were kind of cool. They just break the game, you know? So yeah, I don't know. I had fun with it. The story is phenomenal. Doesn't really give much of a replay value in terms of story, because you already know who the killer is. You're basically pursuing a serial killer throughout this game. But I'm going to put an ace here, because it was really good. They almost got the Dragon Engine combat down. They were almost there, until they got to 7, where they switched to turn-based. And I like 7, alright? But I prefer active combat in my Yakuza games. Alright, I'm not a turn-based hater. I like a turn-based RPG every now and again, but I prefer games where I get to physically punch dudes, like, in real time, you know what I mean? But, yeah, Ichiban's cool, you know? He's definitely a good successor to Kiryu, you know? He's definitely got a different vibe about him. He's not that, like, cold, stoic type, you know? He feels like a shonen protagonist, almost. The characters are great. This game introduced Best Girl seong-hui, you know? So, the switch to turn-based is really out of left field, but it worked out. This definitely has some of the best sub-stories in the entire franchise. It's got 3 maps, which is cool, you know, that are highly detailed. This is the first time we went to Yokohama. The overall story is pretty solid, you know, nothing to like rave about like Zero or Judgment. I don't know, these games, or 2. I like 2's story a lot too. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to put it in A tier because I had a lot of fun with it, and, you know, it's just not S tier for me. I don't know. Maybe you guys like it more than I do, but, you know, I don't know. I spent so much time on the capitalism minigame, like, I don't know. Like, it's just the same thing. You just pick out your, like, bosses, and then you just fast forward through doing the freaking business, and, like, you make billions of dollars. I made, like, so much money off of that in the game. Like, it was ridiculous. I couldn't stop. I don't know why it was so addicting. It's such a simple gameplay loop. But anyway, moving along. Lost Judgment. This game fucks. Right? Isn't that what the kids say? The game fucks. I don't know. This is the best iteration of Dragon Engine real-time combat in the entire franchise. The combat in this game is so insanely fucking good. Like, anybody that wants to make a game with, like, brawler mechanics, like, play this game as a reference. Like, the combat is so good. Stealth missions were god-awful. The robot minigame was god-awful. I like the dance minigame. The side cases were fun. They fixed the tailing. You only have to do it one time in the entire main story. There's a bit more if you do the side cases. There's a whole shmup minigame in there that you can unlock by doing the side cases, which is so much fun. I hope they bring that back. The VR game is way better, and you don't have to do it a billion times. This game has a couple of bullshit things for achievements, like you have to walk the dog for 1 billion miles, you have to fly the drone for 1 real-world hour. Some of the like final races are hard, the skateboard race and the motorcycle race, and the last boxing match is insanely difficult. But other than that, other than the completion complaints, as a game, the parkour was alright. Could be a little bit better if they build upon that in future entries. But yeah, take out the stealth missions, this would be a 10 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. I'm going to put an S tier. Is it better than 0? No. No. It's just the stealth missions drag it down. Alright? I hate the stealth missions in that game. Plus, the Kaido files was fun. You got to play as Kaido. That was kind of cool. Next up, Ishin. Alright, this video is starting to get kind of long, isn't it? So, Like a Dragon Ishin, a Kiwami or whatever, the remake, remaster. It's not really a remake. It's more of a remaster / localization. Ishin is a good game, alright? If you're just playing through it in terms of, you know, just going through the story, fighting the bosses and all that. The Majima fights in this game are bangers, man. I love the Majima fights, alright? So good, but every Majima fight's good. Like, come on, Kiryu versus Majima, like, every time it's awesome. It's like Goku versus Vegeta, you know, or Guts versus Griffith. Every time it's like, fuck yeah, you know, you know what I mean? So my problem with Ishin is that usually with these Yakuza games, I may not go for 100% or all the achievements, but I will go for all the sub-stories to get to Amon, you know, the secret hidden boss in all these games that's like super hard and ridiculous, which, by the way, please stop doing the regenerating health thing. RGG, if you're watching, please. I did not get to Amon in this game because the requirements are ridiculous. You have to do all the sub-stories plus all the Shinsengumi missions, which you gotta just like go through these caves. They're like dungeons almost. Plus, the leveling and money in this game is so insanely grindy. This is by far the grindiest game in the entire franchise. Like, it's actually ridiculous. The only way I got enjoyment out of this was using the chicken glitch, you know, the chicken race glitch, if you guys are familiar with that. I think they patched that out, so I'm not sure if I'm going to go back to it. But, yeah, plus the farming. I mean, it was kind of a fun concept that they developed it a little bit further. It might have been more fun, but the repetitive cooking, like, why do you have to cook so many times? Why do you have to cook so many times for completion? Like, really, it's insane. It's actually insane. Oh, and you have to get all the abilities twice. You actually prestige your abilities, you know, where you level all the way up, and then guess what? You got to do it again. And you don't get, like, more XP. You get less XP the further along you go. This game is too grindy. Too much grind. Plus, the styles, I will say, Swordsman and Wild Dancer are literally the only styles I use. I only use Brawler to get the defense buff, you know, when you do the parry reversal, and that's it. Brawler is horrendous in this game. Tiger Drop is super weak, and Gunman I just use for heat actions once in a while. That's it, okay? Now, I did have fun with it. You may be thinking, like, oh, he's just a hater, right? Now, a little bit, all right? Just in terms of completion. This is by far the worst Yakuza game to complete. Like, it's so bad. Plus, you got to get all of the heat actions to get 100%. And there's this one heat action that's, like, so specific, like, location specific. It's ridiculous. Having said that, I did think the historical aspect of it was really cool. I don't know that much about Japanese history, but I think it's cool to kind of like play it, you know, through like a big event in Japanese history with the whole Shinsengumi, Bakumatsu, Tokugawa Shogunate, all that stuff going on. That was pretty cool. I mean, it did have all of the characters like making a return, you know, as the, you know, historical counterparts, which was fun. You know, of course, every time, you know, see the, it's like, oh shit, is that Kuze? Oh, it's Ryuji, he's back. Akiyama, ooh, you know, why do I have a sudden urge to consume soy and watch Marvel movies? Anyway, yeah, I had fun, too grindy. I'm gonna give it a B tier, but like a low B tier, alright? And next up, the most recent entry in the franchise. That is Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, which is not the longest title ever, okay? Listen, guys, I'm an anime fan, alright? You think that title's long? Have you seen these freaking light novel titles? They're ridiculous. Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, is basically what Kiryu was doing during the events of 7, right? And leading up to 8, which is out right now, I think, by the time this video goes out. Yeah, should be Friday, right? Yeah, should be out like literally today. So this isn't sponsored, by the way. I just think it's a great franchise. I love it. And I do think paywalling New Game Plus is a horrible business practice that you should not do at all. I mean, I already paid for the Super Duper Deluxe whatever edition. I know I'm horrible. I'm part of the problem. But, you know, I want all of it, man. Yeah, but I don't think they should put that behind the higher tiers. Maybe like the costumes and like the bonus, like extra, like shit like that, but not New Game Plus, man. Come on. But yeah, getting back to Gaiden, this felt like a little bit of a step down in terms of combat from Lost Judgment, but that might just be because Yagami's moveset was so fleshed out. I did have fun with this. I do think this is the best iteration of the Coliseum. Akame was a great character. I hope she makes a little cameo in the next game, at least in like a little sub-story or something. That'd be really cool. I liked her a lot. Sotenbori, great map. This is probably one of the best map versions of Sotenbori in the franchise. You know, it was kind of cool to get to explore a little bit of Yokohama too. Getting the platinum or 100 or all the achievements was actually kind of easy except for surgical precision. Fuck that achievement. But I did get it eventually. Yeah, I had fun with it. The combat's pretty damn good. Amon was kind of easy this time around. I'm sure some of you guys had a hard time with Amon this one, but I beat him second try. No New Game Plus in this game kind of sucks ass. I don't know why they didn't do that, especially because this has literally the best boss fight in the entire franchise. A final boss in the entire franchise. Like, literally, this final boss is so good. And why did you not put New Game Plus in there or Legend difficulty? Like, come on, man. But come on. But side stories were kind of cool. Sub-stories or side cases or whatever you want to call them. They were really good. A lot of like a little bit of fan service in there for long-time players, you know. And yeah, Joryu's a cool guy. I want to see more of him in future entries, but I don't know. We're getting this Kiryu guy back again. What happened to Joryu? All right, rank this though. I'm gonna give this a low A, high B, okay? Because it's still kind of like half a game, you know. But it's still a good game. So yeah, I give it like high B. Did take me about like 60 hours to complete though, so you know, I would say it's worth the money if you want to buy it new. No physical copy for the collectors, though, if you want the physical copy, so that kind of sucked. Where am I going to put Infinite Wealth? I'm probably going to put it in S tier if it's as good as it looks, alright? Also, you get to play as seong-hui, so I'm fucking sold. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy this video. I think the drawing turned out okay-ish. I don't know. Maybe you tell me in the comments below. And I will see you next week, maybe. I might be busy playing Yakuza 8. Or technically 10, if you count Gaiden and 0. It's technically the 10th mainline entry. Whatever. Anyway, I'll see you next time.